So I've decided to change one principle of the good life, namely the principle sin and damnation, which I've used for years now to try to remind myself of the danger of believing things without good reason. And there are basically four principles, or four sub-principles of that. And these are the principles of sin. These are credulity, a willingness to believe, an over-willingness to believe. Faith, which is laying belief upon a foundation of no foundation, as the Bible says in Romans 3:15, the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen, which is to say nothing. So faith in that capacity, at least by that definition, is simply wishful thinking. More evidence that shows how faith cannot be a very good tool towards truth is that we can use faith to believe absolutely anything, even contradictory beliefs. So that's why it ranks as one of the sins. So credulity, faith, superstition, the more or less a kind of a catalog of things that we kind of question as possibly being not true, even so much so that the word superstition itself has that ring to it. And then finally dogma. Dogma are things that are codified and expected to be believed by virtue of the fact that they have been codified. Tradition or authority says so. It's written in this book. It's said by Archbishop so and so, and it's always been that way. So dogma, whatever form it takes. So the sins of my life, of my worldview, are credulity, faith, superstition, and dogma. The consequence of that, of living a life where we accept things without good reason, is the damnation part. We're damned to live in a world where we may be believing things that are untrue, or at risk of doing so by virtue of our weak epistemology and our faulty mechanism to ascertain reality, or what is really the case in reality. So I've decided to add to the list, and I'm going to add something that's probably more inflammatory than having faith on the list, because faith, of course, is typically regarded as a virtue, right? I mean, faith is the foundation of so many things. I mean, we sometimes confuse faith with trust. We would say, like, I have faith in my wife, and I really mean is I have trust in my wife, and that trust is usually based on evidence, right? The past experience with my wife, the evidence in my case of 30 plus years of fealty, and no good reason to think otherwise, or at least she's got me really well fooled. But at least I have good reason to think so. There could be some faith which is blind expectation and hope, but I think that we confound the two. We confuse them as trust and faith as separate things. Rudy, no need to bark. He's staring very intently. So add to that something even more likely to make some people maybe squirm a little bit, and that is added to the list, and I'm going to add it first to the list. So I did before credulity, faith, superstition, and dogma. I would like to add first to the list hope. Hope. How can hope be a sin? Well, in my catalog here, hope is a little bit different from the others. The other four are flavors of belief, of flavors of willingness to believe something on without good reason. Hope, though, isn't that. Hope is a sin when I view it from the perspective of the Stoics. The Stoics, of course, being the Greek and Roman philosophers that had a particular way of viewing the world that helped them to achieve what they called the good life, which is a life of virtue, a life of recognizing what is and what is not within our control, and of balance and equanimity in living accordingly. Hope, according to the Stoics, if I can be so bold as to think that I have ascertained their perspective, hope is an investment in future returns that is likely to have a payoff, kind of like a slot machine. You pull the bandit down, and maybe it's not as risky as chance, but when you get the payout, yay, you're good. I'm hoping for that triple sixes or whatever it is. I don't do slot machines. I don't know if triple sixes are a winner, or triple sevens. Yay, got the payoff. Wow, and versus a nonsense string of letters and numbers that results in nothing. Hope is similar to that, in that we are anticipating some outcome and laying our expectations and our sense of Rudy, come here, our sense of goodness, our sense of peace, our sense of balance, our equanimity on that outcome. The interesting thing is that hope in of itself, Rudy, be a good boy. Hope in of itself is a rather flaccid, can I use that term? A rather impotent, a rather unsustaining characteristic. It doesn't do anything. Hope just kind of sits there with its hands clasped and waits out fortune and waits for the universe to do its thing. And I really hope that tomorrow's going to be a sunny day. Oh boy! And when it's rainy, right now the Stoics would recommend us not to have hope. It doesn't mean that we don't want a sunny day. It just means that whatever comes of tomorrow, we will abide that reality as a Stoic. See, the Stoic we, right? Maybe we have a particular anticipation, but the resulting outcome is not likely to sway our emotional or mental state very much. We're going to remain kind of balanced. That stereotypical Stoic indifference, that Stoic apathy. Again, these are all great words to apply to the Stoic frame of mind. Indifferent to what actually happens, the sways and the churn and the imbalance of fortune, and in apathy towards the same. So hope then, when we apply it, one, it doesn't do anything; it just lays there. And two, it offers us a chance to be disappointed when what we hoped for didn't come about. So I think the Stoics would say, forego hope, and instead of hoping on an outcome, simply do what we can to build towards that, make efforts, and apply our energies towards the better city, the good city, the whatever outcome that may be, and then accept with balance, equanimity, and resignation, perhaps, to a degree, whatever does come. I kind of like that. So yeah, hope is now a sin in my worldview. As strange as that feels, it's kind of like having a rock in the mouth you just can't quite swallow. It's like, it doesn't feel like it belongs in my mouth. It belongs somewhere else, But to swallow it nonetheless, right? As a bitter pill as it is. Another one bites the dust. All right, well, I'm going to sign off for now and wish you all the best. Remember, tomorrow will be another day. You and I may or may not be here. I, for one, am not going to hope for anything more than the balance, the foresight, the capability to reason and to deal with tomorrow as it comes, without undue expectation or disappointment in whatever does come. So take care.